Hi guys, Squall here. Welcome to another Train Sim World video. As you can see, we're at Huddersfield Station, waiting delivery of some vans, blah blah blah. So, we're going to get in a little shunter here, and what we're going to do is we're going to shunt some goods cars. Further down, there's a Class 40 train waiting, and we're going to add this extra bit of consist onto the whole thing. And then we're going to drive that up to Leeds, I think it is, from Huddersfield. We're on the North Trans-Pennine DLC. We're just waiting for this guy to go, so let's get on the shunter. These are good little train, these. I love these. Great fun. Get on the shunter, make sure the windows are open, because I like the acoustics. Can you open this? No, you can't open that one. Okay, so, wait for the line to clear. So we're just going to wait for that guy to clear the line. As you can see, it's typical weather for this area. Cloudy, rainy. Yeah. It does look good though. Very, very busy routes, obviously from the industrial era. Lots and lots of train track. From when this was an industrial northern powerhouse. Those days are long gone. But what remains is lots and lots of track. So, in a second it's going to ask us to move. I did notice this thing, look at this. That's really cool. So depending on which side you want to sit, you just flick the instrument panel to the other side. And then if you open this window, you can just stick your head out the window, which is exactly what they're designed for. So you kind of sit sideways a little bit. Let me just move the camera back. You kind of sit there, you see. So you've got your back to the side, but you can like lean out and see what's going on. And you can flip sides if you want to. Come over here. Pretty cool. I think these things are restricted 20 miles an hour or something. Maximum speed, probably 25 downhill. But that's not what they're for. They're not about speed, they're on about just moving things around the yard. Okay, so here we go. Set the train brake to running. We shall do that. Set the reverser to forward. And we'll get signal. Contact signaler. Yep, waiting for him. Proceed at restricted speed. Okay. Which is 15 miles per hour. Stick our head out the window. Right, so we just need to be careful when we join these cars up onto the main train. We're just going to make sure that we get the speed right, that's the main thing. Want to be looking at something in the region of 4 to 5 miles per hour is generally what works. Anything quicker than that, and we risk damaging the cars. Anything slower than that, we don't quite have enough forward force to sort of, you know, push the connectors together, push the shunters together, and we've got to get on the brake fairly quickly to hold it in that position so we can go and connect it. So I think we'll throttle back. Okay, so down ahead there you can see the other cars that we're going to link up to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera to here. And obviously in real life you'd be basically looking at this, so you've got to stick your head out the window and really judge this. You don't have the external camera in real life, obviously. Pull forward to the locomotives, so let's get some braking going here. Initial application braking. Let's get our speed down. The brakes on this are quite responsive, so you can very quickly take speed off or release the brakes fairly quickly. Unlike the Class 40, the Class 40's brakes are quite slow to respond. Okay, so just coming in, and that was absolutely bang on, look at that. Initial application all the way, judged to perfection. Okay, so let's get out the car. Leg it down here. Couple these together. There we go. Now I think what we're going to do now is disconnect this. It's now ready to make its journey to Leeds. Run this Class 8 back to siding, stabilising it for further pilot duties. Okay. Put that on there. Right, so if we... Oh, hang on. There's one thing we didn't do. It uncouple the vehicle. Uncouple that. And stick the reverser into reverse. And of course the advantage of these things is you can just turn around and see all this in front of you, so the visibility of these is awesome. Go. So at the front of that is a Class 40. Now, I've driven the Class 45 recently. They're not too dissimilar to the Class 40. Good old BR stuff. They're the ones that have... I think they're the ones that have those, you know, the wipers. They kind of like... I just love the wipers in them. Like analog wiper with a lever that you move. And it's like a pneumatic system. It's so cool. I think that's the one that has it. Okay, that's a really weird camera view. Let's not do that. That was really weird. Wasn't expecting that. All the points should be set exactly as they were, so we don't need to worry about that. Speed up a little bit. So I don't know what waits us ahead on the journey. I don't know if we're going to have any signalling problems to deal with or anything of that case. Or whether it's just going to be a straight run through up to Leeds. We'll have to see. Haven't done this route. I wish they'd give me more jobs with this shunter. It's really fun. Let's go into idle. Let's get the initial brakes on. Because we haven't got any goods, this thing should react quite well to brake changes. Just nudge it in. Yeah, I should do it. Okay, let's put it into neutral. Set the brake to full service. Probably... Okay, emergency's fine. I take it we're just going to leave the engine running by the look of it. Right, now. 647-yard sprint. God. I suppose in real life they'd have to stay on this side, wouldn't they? With a high vis and all the rest of it. Loads of people waiting at the platform. It should be alright on this side track here. I wouldn't want to get on the main line though. We'll pick up our Class 40 and head off to Leeds. The compass rose tells us which way we're pointing as well. You can see we're kind of... Obviously Leeds being... trying to think from Huddersfield, northbound. Pretty much northbound I think from Huddersfield. Trying to remember my geography on that area. I think we'll get in on the left side as well. You can't jump and see over that wall. Look at that light on the back, a little tail light. That's so cool. Proper old school tail light. Because there's no power going through these things, of course. Wow, look at that. Imagine living in those houses. Every time a train goes past, you just get vibrations. Okay, open the door. Jump on board. Should be a cab light here somewhere. There we go. That's better. Look at this. Look how old school this is. Yeah, these were what I was on about, these little pneumatic wipers. Look at that. Fantastic. Okay, what else do we need? Tail lights, instrument lights can go on. If we increase that. Well, it's not the one that you can click. There's one in Train Simulator that you can actually operate this thing physically. But it really is a physical... oh, there it is. Right, come on. It's a proper physical, actual mechanical wiper. Love it. Right, set the train brake to release. Pay attention to the hoses down here. You can see the brake pressure in the line there. Let's get some throttle going. 30%. Open the window. Now this train, they're pretty responsive, these trains. They have quite a lot of tractive effort. I don't know if the goods cars are filled or not. Yeah, let's get back inside. Right, 14 miles, so let's have a look at the itinerary. Alright, so it's saying basically, barring any signal and speed, oh sorry, line change speeds, then it should be a fairly straight run. Whoops. Managed to overshoot the speed slightly though. Like I say, if it takes a long time for the brakes to kick in and release on this locomotive. It really can catch you out if you're not careful. Alright, let's punch it. Whoa, look at that. From a time when we didn't care a jot about emissions. Emissions? You what, mate? What are those? Diesel power. If you took a diesel engine from this era and compared it against a modern diesel engine, it really would be night and day, the efficiency differences. Like, it would be so unbelievably different. Now we've got a 0.7% gradient downhill, and we've got a 50-mile-an-hour limit coming up, so be careful about the speed that we go for. In lieu of the fact that those brakes are a bit tricky to work with. We'll just cruise at that. Very basic controls. Got your local brake there, head US over here, cab heater sign, signal there, switch, cab heater. Cab heater's kind of redundant in this game, don't you think? Like, there's no sense of temperature in the cabin. You don't know, as a driver in the game, whether you're feeling hot or cold. So, having the cabin heater is just a bit weird. Like, the original train has it, so they've put it in, but I think they should implement some... I mean, even if you play a game like Stormworks, you can get cold and turn the heater on, and then you don't die of getting too cold. I suppose that is the problem at the end of the day, is if you do feel cold, what happens? I guess they just should deduct points from you in the game. If you don't put the heater on and you let yourself get cold, or you let your passengers get too hot, that's another thing. Because even a game like OMSI has that. Very basic sense of comfort level. So you get, you know, points deducted if you don't maintain comfort for your passengers or even yourself. Oh, look at this. So good. I'm going up on that 50 limit. Just not to be the speeder back, because we are accelerating down this very gradual slope. Got the speed under control, so I'm on initial application. It seems to be holding it with a very slight deceleration now. But you notice the sort of 5 to 10 seconds it took for the brakes to get up to the actual application that I wanted. So you've really got to get ahead of this thing. Okay, now going up to an 80 limit shortly, so we'll get off the brakes. Throttle on. So if we just have a look on the map what we've done here, we was heading northeast and now we've turned and we're heading very much east before swinging north again up towards Leeds, so it is northeast of Huddersfield. Oh, fantastic view, look at that. Right, so the speed limit's cracked up to 80, but it's also dropping to 45, so we need to make good use of the gap we've got here. Do you know what? I think I actually prefer it when it's rainy like this. I think the scenery looks really... what's the word I'm looking for? Not moody. Kind of imposing, like it's got a lot of character to it like this. If it was a sunny day it would look nice, but this... oh, hang on, got a yellow signal coming up. Turn the throttle off. We may have to stop. Maybe we're not going to get an easy run after all. We're doing 50 at the moment, so if... better bring it down just in case this goes to red. Remember, the signals are on the left because we're in England. So that's for us, the double yellow. And then we've got a single yellow, so it is highly likely we've got something ahead of us. See if we can actually find it. Maybe this guy, or it could be the track change coming up here. Yeah, there's like a red aspect at the moment, so there's... because we're going to have to cross the track, we will probably have to wait for a clear run on that. Depending on our timing when we get there. So you've got your sander, engine stop and start down here, the master key goes in there. You've got your reverser and your throttle down here. You've then got the loco brake and the train brake. You've got the handbrake. On the old, like class 40, class 45 type thing, they had a spinning wheel for a handbrake, which worked pretty effectively. I reckon we'll be hitting a red aspect in a second. I'm just going to idle. After this one, I imagine. Because if I didn't have that thing on the top right, I would have to assume right now that the next one was a red. And in fact it is a red. So we'll just get some initial braking going just to manage the pressure in the brake pipe. And because I don't know the braking capabilities of this logo particularly well, let's get some heavy braking on. Oh boy, that may not be enough. What? I thought the track was broken then. It was like the shadow of that tree that was... oh, you scumbag. That's just like your traffic lights on the road. You brake, you stop, and the moment you stop, it changes. That's a scumbag. Yeah, I was looking at that thinking there was damaged track, and it's just the shadow, I think, of that tree. So weird. Yeah, just at the moment I stop. What's the weight on these things? 7,600 kilograms. Oh, that's the tire weight, 7,600, which carries 12 tons. So the cars themselves weigh 7.6 tons. Wow. Yeah, so we've got another red aspect coming up in 1.3. Slightly overdid the speed there. That's fine, we've got it. 20 mile an hour under the track change. These massive factories and power plants here. I've got a feeling that power plant on the left isn't there anymore. Those cooling towers. I've got a feeling. Let's see if we can quickly see what's going on ahead. Okay, it looks like this. So I'm guessing that's the passenger stop, and right now there's a passenger train in the station, which will probably have cleared by the time we get there. And they're probably going to be quicker than us anyway, so I reckon we should be good. But yeah, a lot of old heavy industry here. There you go, it's gone green now. Let's punch it. So not a straight run straight through, it's not super dead simple. Looks like we've got no more track changes ahead though. Apart from when we get into this bit here, particularly here. That run through into Leeds, quite a big station Leeds. And we're on a hill climb. Remember when I was doing the VR180 filming, we looked at one of these as a potential filming, but the problem with it was where to clamp the cameras to. It was a very physical problem. I couldn't necessarily choose the train that I wanted because practical aspects of where are we going to mount the cameras became very apparent in here. That's a class 101 or a 100, something like that. Yeah, obviously you can't clamp it to these pipes, these electrics or anything like that, and there's no physical things to grab onto. You know, a tripod only goes so far to stabilise things. And the one we ended up with has like a metal arch here, which was perfect for clamping onto. It wasn't my number one choice of train. But sometimes you just got to sacrifice things because you need to make it work for filming. .8 miles. Lots of big bridges as well. You know what's fascinating about these bridges that were built in the industrial era? They're all made out of brick. It's just, it blows my mind how many bricks go into these. If you actually go and look at those old arch bridges, and they're still standing today because they were made out of brick, and brick is such a, you know, it's a labour-intensive thing to build, but once it's built, it's fantastically strong. It just stays there for, you know, a long, long time. Just look at the Egyptian pyramids, they're just effectively giant bricks, aren't they? Right, got a yellow aspect here. And a red aspect. But yeah, they're just the sheer volume of bricks. When you come into Liverpool Street Station in London, it's the same. Just millions of bricks and brick arches and walls. The kind of thing that nobody builds now because it is just too expensive. Just the labour costs on that alone are insane. Okay, I wonder what this is all about. Oh, I see. We've got a slow-moving train ahead of us. It's a 4-car train. It's probably that another one of those class 101s. Assuming that's what it was. But yeah, we're sharing the line with that thing. I'm surprised it's going so slowly, to be honest. So there's a signal. So if I keep her a very slow speed, it might go yellow soon. Trying to see where his next signal block is. Also, what's the hold up exactly? I don't know. We're going to be parked on the bridge for a bit. It's actually not a terrible place to stop. Right, move it again. Change to yellow. I think the guy ahead has cleared his block. I'm kind of hoping he's going to pick up speed, to be honest with you. Although I suspect he's... I can't even find him at the moment. I suspect he's going to stop here, isn't he? I don't know where he is. He's gone. Yeah, he must have stopped here. That's what it was. He'll be a lot more manoeuvrable than we are, so I think we shouldn't catch him up too much. But I find with these situations it's generally best to maintain a steady speed, because inevitably, if that's a stopping passenger service, then it will be stopping at each station and it will be staying there for like a couple of minutes. And if we just accelerate hard now, you know, he'll be pulling into a platform and we'll just hit a load of red stops. So if you kind of go along at a steady speed, you can often chase the red, as it were. His speed keeps, you know, fluctuating, but we just maintain a level speed. And as long as that speed's not too quick, then we don't end up chasing him too much. I wonder if the actual drivers get information from control as to what's happening and what's likely to happen to help them make predictions. I love the way they've sculpted the land here. If you look at it, like the actual ballast under the track it actually looks like it's sat on top of the earth. It's really nice. They've done a very good job, and then the water collects on the sides. Looks pretty good. Yeah, it kind of looks like this is going to be a stop-starter. These freight cars remind me of like the original goods cars that you get in a lot of the Transport Tycoon games. And also what you see like in the movies, like the World War II movies of the era, where they're escaping from prison, escaping from Colditz or whatever, and they're jumping on the back of cars like this, these goods wagons that they're escaping in. Just hide inside. Real classic shape. Oh, we get points for that. The rendering isn't perfect though. Like if you look at the grass with the water on it, it kind of makes it look like a mirror, which is a bit weird. It doesn't scatter the light properly. It's not perfect. Well, what a stop-start service this has turned out to be. I think what I'll do is I'll clear through this and we'll pick it up in a minute. There you go. He's cleared off again. Just had a look at the map and he is ahead. But we are basically chasing him from stop to stop. There's lights at the end of the tunnel, guys. It's okay. No, there really is lights at the end of the tunnel. The lights on these things are notoriously bad. I mean, look at this. We turn that off and you just can't see a thing. I do wonder, like, I look at these seats and I think your head would just about, you literally feel like you're peering over the top of your dad's car, don't you? Like, surely those seats must rise. They must be on a screw thread that you can raise and lower. I mean, I'd be okay. I'm quite a tall person, but if you were a small guy and you sat here, you'd be too low down. Right, so what I've done is I took it steady through that tunnel just to give that guy ahead a bit more breathing room. And That was a long tunnel. But we've now got a bit of a clear run because he's cleared off. Which is nice. So there's a 50 limit just coming out of that tunnel there. I think it's probably because of that platform and the turn itself. But we are going downhill quite a bit, so our speed is going to increase. I'm just coasting at the moment. So if you quickly look on here, it's a long left turn and then a right. I saw him go through this block, so he's ahead. He's up there now, look. He's on his way into Leeds, so he's quite a few blocks clear of us. We've got just over 3 miles left to get into Leeds. I expect there'll be some signalling stoppages on the way in. Just keep that speed under 50. Beautiful train. I do love these old BR diesels. I do love them. They're just so fond of them. They've got so much character. I know they're not efficient, and emissions wise they're not great either, but you know, we don't make them anymore, and the ones we have are being looked after by various heritage places like the one I visited last year, the VR180 video. Places like that, just keeping them going. But the guys who look after them and drive them, you know, they used to be the original drivers, and those guys are like 60, 70 years old, like pensioners now. And I do worry what's going to happen to, you know, the locos when people like that inevitably pass on. Like, who's going to look after them? Are they going to be younger people coming through to run these heritage lines? I do hope so, but I mean, they won't have the experience that these guys had of actually driving them, so I suspect a lot of experience is being passed on right now to younger drivers. But I mean, heritage line is mostly the guys who drive tend not to be paid. They do it for the love of it. And as we all know, everybody's busy these days doing things, trying to make ends meet, so not enough time to just do freebies with the heritage lines. So I do worry about their future. They might end up in a museum. Just keeping them going is expensive. I mean, I remember the guy telling me about the one I drove. You know, the sheer running costs are just unbelievable. Those things can just, you know, even on a heritage line, can burn 400 quid's worth of diesel just going up and down in a day. No problem at all. Somebody's got to pay for that. So we've got a 25 mile an hour limit coming up in 1 mile. I suspect that's the initial... We almost had a yellow aspect as well. I suspect that's the initial entrance into the junction that we saw earlier. So we need to get some braking going here. Need to arrest that speed quite a bit. Come on, we need more braking force. This old girl doesn't want to slow down. She accelerates way better than she brakes. And just look at how slow that speed's coming down. I don't even know if I'm going to make it. Really poor on the brakes. Getting control, that's good. It really is. I mean, we're at 89% braking, and let's knock it back a little bit now. It didn't want to come down, did it? Blimey. Right, just level off the speed now. You can see why it would take time to learn how to get the best out of a train like this. Lovely. here we go. Look, we're coming through all this busy stuff. Not too far from destination now. We're under speed. Yellow aspects. May have to stop to gain entry into Leeds. We'll have to see. Yeah, there's a double yellow there. Next one's red. Currently, might have to wait for a spot. Speed down. Braking a bit late there. Gonna slightly speed through these tracks. Okay, that's not so bad. Got it under control just in time. And then a 10-mile-an-hour drop. Oh, come on, brakes. Come on, come on. I should have kept the brake going. Should have anticipated that. Lovely, that'll do. Throttle just to shave off that deceleration. Nice approach to Leeds coming in. I know we normally talk about approaches in flight sim terms, but in train sim terms, this is quite a nice approach. It reminds me in some respects of East Croydon. East Croydon's a bit like this, just lots of lines coming in together from various directions. East Croydon sits on the southern side of London, and the lines coming out of it spread out like this, like some will go straight south, some will go southwest, some will go southeast, and they all kind of fan in together. Miles an hour though, that's a pretty aggressive speed restriction. Nice view of Leeds City. We're over that side, aren't we, if I remember, on that diagram? Yeah, over there. 500 yards to our destination. It's been a nice little run, this. Apart from that, getting stuck behind that stop and passenger service. Other than that, it would have been a fairly smooth run. But it started off with a little good shunting, which is nice. I like things like that. Makes things a bit different. I reckon it was either that one or that one that was ahead of us. So if you put the lights off in here, it's just a bit too dark, isn't it? There's not enough natural light coming in. That's why I have the cab light on. Now, when to start applying the brakes to get a correct stop with this thing, that's the question. I am wondering why we're stopping a goods train at a passenger platform with passengers here, though. I am curious. You're not actually thinking of getting in the goods car, are you? So there's a very good chance I could blow that red signal by the time the brakes come on. Let's get the initial application going. The speed's coming down probably too much now. It's about patience with these brakes, isn't it? You put the initial application on and nothing happens. So you start panicking and then put a bit more brake on. But actually, if you just wait, as the brake pressure builds, it starts to come on. Okay, we should be good. We'll put some initial application on now. Let's put some service on. By the time it's kicked in, that'll be more or less about right, won't it? There you go. Alrighty then. Freight train will continue on to York, where it will be unloaded to deliver goods all around Yorkshire. See, why can't we take it to York? I really wish it would connect the routes together. Like if they brought out a Leeds to York route and I had both that and this, it would just let me carry on. That would be so much better. Yeah, we did alright. There was a tiny bit of overspeed there and there. But on the whole, worked pretty well. 4,500 action points out of it. Action Man would be proud. So just to let you know which one that was, we have a look back here. You'll see that it is the Northern Transpennine. And the scenario listings, it was that one, I believe. Whistler and Gronk. Form up a goods train and haul it to Leeds and beyond. Interestingly, it's given us a tick mark, but not medals. I think it was that one. That's 40. Form up a goods train and haul it to Leeds, yeah. Yeah, it was that one, wasn't it? Definitely that one. I don't know why it's not giving us a medal. That's pretty weird. But I think that were the trains we kept seeing. Class 101 BLG. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you did. And until next time, take it easy. And happy training.